Hi everyone, this is Neha. We are today here to talk about natural calamities and disasters, and we are going to try and relate it to astrology. So, in the world of astrology, we will see just how is it that with certain planetary combinations and certain signs and elements, it can trigger major events like earthquakes, cyclones, tsunamis, and any form of natural disasters. We are going to see that with the help of Vedic astrology. So we now have here with us Himanshu. He has worked on study of earthquakes and he has several years of research regarding earthquakes. So he would like to share whatever he has found all these years. So welcome, Himanshu.
Thank you, Sneha, and welcome, guys. So, as Sneha told, we are talking about natural calamities. So, first of all, when we heard the word natural calamities, so we thought which type of calamities are there. So, mainly we categorize natural calamities in four categories, like on the basis of the elements or the tattvas of the element in astrological term, like it's if it's earthy sign, like it's earthquake or volcanoes or some fire events. Apart from that, tsunami and cyclones are there. So I think Sneha will give more insights on elements and how the elements will affect. Then we'll proceed further.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about how we categorize the zodiac signs in astrology, in Vedic astrology, into four different categories, which is related to certain elements that can trigger various natural disasters. So some of us viewers might know about these four categories. For example, the fire signs, also known as the thermal trikona, consists of the 1, 5, and 9 sign, which is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So, as you can guess, it can trigger various kind of natural disasters that is related to fire that uses the heat element. So, it can create massive forest fires in mountains, in any sort of way that is related to fires. So now we move on to the next category, which is consisting of the watery signs, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And as you have guessed, it is also known as the Moksha Trikona in astrology. So obviously, this might trigger various water-related disasters such as extreme rains and flooding of rivers and seas and tsunamis and anything related to water that can create massive large-scale destruction. And then the next thing we move on to is the area element consisting of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, which is also known as the Kama Trikona. So we can see that this airy element can also be related in a way to cyclones and giant windstorms and gusts of winds in any regions around the globe that can also help with the creation of fires as well, because it can be quite related. So this can cause, and we can also in a way we can relate it to our current COVID as well, because anything that spreads through air can also be considered categorized in this element as well. And then last but not the least, we go towards the earth signs, also known as the practical earthly signs, earth signs, which is known as, which is consisting of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So we can see that obviously any disasters related to the earth, such as earthquakes, even tsunami, which is originating from the bottom of the earth, in a way it is related to it. So mainly when the tectonic plates of earth undergo some friction while the layers of these plates are moving constantly, so it can create certain friction and cause whatever we experience during earthquake in the form of movements, large scale disruption that can be categorized into this earthly signs. So this is how we categorize these four elements into these zodiacs. So now do you have anything to add, Himanshu? Or
So I think on the you really explain well about the elements. So whenever in the transit, many planets are influencing any one element according to the
yeah,
houses. That time, that type of I think that type of calamity will come. And I'll also add on that like major planets influencing the signs are like Jupiter and Saturn, as Jupiter is one of the heaviest planet in our solar system in astrological terms. And
yeah,
if we talk about Saturn, Saturn is the slowest planet. And
yeah,
when we see about the uh, any event which will trigger, so involvement of Jupiter and Saturn is really important to trigger
definitely
any
there.
event,
Yeah,
whether it is a good event or it is a natural
disastrous.
calamity
Yeah,
like
yeah,
cyclones or earthquakes. Apart from that, I'll also add some key points through which we will get to know when the earthquakes or any calamity will come. So
yeah.
if we see, the first point is like earthquake never occurs during eclipse or
Oh,
eclectic period. And the second thing is like earthquake always take place after solar or lunar eclipse within a week of next new moon or full moon. So that the moon is in influence with like that time Rahu and Ketu, which is also the major
yes,
planet in performing the pandemics
yes,
or the calamities. The
yeah.
third important point about earthquake is earthquake often happens either at the midnight or just after the sunrise before midday. It never
Okay,
occurs on like in afternoon, majorly in afternoon after between like 12 to 3 or 12 to 6. That time the probability of occurring the earthquake will be very less. Mostly
oh,
it will occur
that's
in the
interesting.
night time.
Oh,
After that, if we see some planets, the major planets influencing the earthquakes are like one is Saturn, the slowest and the heaviest planet. Apart from that, Jupiter, as I already mentioned. Mars is
yeah,
also there, as Mars is a
yes.
karaka for earthy sign.
Earth and
Earth,
land as
yeah.
well.
So Mars
Yeah,
involvement is really important in that. Apart from that, Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu are the nodes which will play a major role in any pandemic or any disasters. Apart from
yes,
that, like Mercury also owns the one earthy sign. So Mercury also plays sometime a major role. And Moon.
yes,
Moon, why Moon? Because Moon is influencing the tides, or it is the
yes.
fastest planet. So the influence of
And it
Moon is,
influences the gravitational force as well of the
yes.
seas and everything. Yeah,
So that is why the moon, we have to see the moon. So when this planet becomes centralized or triangularized into like into the trines or into the quadrants of any
okay,
place horoscope, like either the yearly horoscope, because every planet, every city and every country has their different horoscopes. uh,
yeah,
so we have to check those horoscopes and see like if something is in trine or like centralized, then the major occurrence will happen in that place only. If you also see, the moon and the lunar star performs the most important role in the directing the earthquake effect.
yes, indeed. Yeah,
As moon is the karka for triggering the tides, as you mentioned.
yeah,
Apart from that, if we also see in the earthquake horoscope, the major planets are often found in windy substantive part, or the earthy substantive or earthy element parts. Because
Okay.
in earthquake, if Saturn is in windy sign, so from the third aspects it will always see the earthy sign. So that is one of the best impact of Saturn. If its third aspect is very like crucial for either the pandemics or this calamities. That is why
Yeah.
windy sign is very important in that. And apart from that, major transits in earthy sign will play a major role in that. Apart from the next point I would like to add is the star on devastating earthquake day often will be in orbit of the earth or in the atmosphere. Like it's very close to the earth that time.
Okay.
And the other thing is when the volcanic eruption is happen, it's majorly influencing the fire signs or the major planets in the fire. We will see the example also about that.
Yeah.
And similarly, the star on the day of holocaust will be in the sodium, and the major planets will be in the water zone.
Oh, that makes
Apart from
sense.
that,
Yeah.
the same thing we will see. Similarly, devastating earthquake occurs when the sun is in on the tropic of Cancer, or on the summer solstice, or in the Capricorn in the December or January. So this is very important point, because sun is a every planet is revolving around the sun. So when sun
Yeah.
enters the zodiac of Capricorn in the winter solstice, that
Yeah.
time most devastating earthquake will happen. That is in around December and January, if we analyze last 500 years of earthquakes. Because Capricorn is a earthy sign, so sun enters into the earthy sign that time. Though, so the major energy is on the earthy planet, like sun's energy, which will influence all the planets in Capricorn sign.
That's
So
interesting.
let's take the example. I think Sneha will talk about one example of uh, any one calamity, so it will be more easier to understand with the example.
Yeah, so I'll be taking the example of the massive fire disaster that happened in Australia last year in September 2019. So here we have in front of us the transit chart of Australia as it was of that time, and we can easily see that around many planets are transiting into the fiery signs. Here we have in the 12th house, we have Leo. And in here in Sagittarius, we have in the fourth house, we see that the major planets, Saturn, the slow moving planet, is moving into Sagittarius, along with the south node of the moon and the moon itself in Sagittarius, triggering. And Lord of Sagittarius, Jupiter, we have in the third house. And then we have in another fiery sign of Leo, we have Mars, Venus, Mercury, and Sun. So we can easily see that in the fiery signs, we have almost, I mean, 7 planets together triggering it. And we can also see that the fire that happened was like disastrous. I mean, it happened in a very large scale, and this is just simply, I mean, in a very simplified way, we can see how that similar situations can happen whenever such humongous planetary disturbances can come in these fiery signs. We also see that Mars, which is, I mean, it is related to Earth, but uh, we can see that it is Mars in itself is a planet that is very, I mean, very fiery and full of heat, and it's sitting here with Sun, and then also with Mercury here, as you mentioned, is also the owner of a earthly signs. So we can see that together with some of the elements, we see humongous effect of these fiery planets in the fiery signs, creating such a huge calamity in a large scale. I mean, about 100 millions or so were affected in this. So this was just a simple example that we have given here for the massive fire that happened in Australia. So as you can see, you don't have to be very advanced in astrology in order to understand this. Just simple concepts like these can easily help you understand these disasters.
Very well
So
said. Also, we
yeah,
can see like Rahu is in Aries sign, so Rahu and
yeah,
Ketu are involved in it. So
hmm,
Rahu will provide the air to amplify
yeah.
the
It is
fire.
providing the impetus to
Yeah,
ignite the
and
fire.
also like
Yeah,
as you said, Mars is the first zodiac of Mars is in the fiery sign, and Mars is
yeah,
sitting in the trine of fire only. So that is
yeah,
also the one major
hmm,
point adding to that.
yeah,
Also, we are going to see we have seen the Australia fire. Apart from that, I would like to add one more event, that is the earthquake in Lisbon, Iran, which happened in
okay,
like
yeah,
1755, 111, 1755. This is the yearly transit of that day. On that particular day, if we see as we earlier talked about for the earthy sign, like for the earthquake, earthy sign, the transit of Jupiter and Saturn is very prominent for the earthy sign. So if we see, the Jupiter is transiting in the Virgo, which is earthy sign, and the Saturn is transiting in Capricorn, again the earthy sign. So two
earthly
major
signs.
planet, two big planet and heavy planets are transiting in the earthy sign. So there are chances, like if those two planets are in earthy sign, there are subtle chances that somewhere in the world earthquake will going to erupt. Apart from that, if we see the Saturn from the third aspect seen the fiery sign, and Jupiter also seen from the seventh aspect, the sorry, watery sign, and Jupiter also aspecting the sixth house of
Yeah,
watery sign. So if we see the earthquake, this earthquake is also come up with the tides. The sea tides jumped up to 40 feet high during that particular period. So this is how we can easily analyze when the earthquake will going to erupt.
yeah.
So if we by analyzing this horoscope of 111 1755, we can easily understand, it's not a big deal to understand, but for which part of
We can
country it
literally
will.
see that the sign of Pisces means ocean tides, and Saturn is directly looking at it, triggering. So that is just so simple but powerful way to analyze it.
Yeah, because we have to analyze the yearly chart or the country chart of each
Yeah,
place. So we'll get to know the insights when it will occur. And I
yeah,
think astrology is the only best way which can predict about this calamities, because many a
yeah.
times scientists are also not able to figure out when this calamities
Yeah,
will.
we have tried through science a lot, but so far we haven't been very successful. On the other hand, we see that certain animals and species of birds are easily able to tell, like they start behaving strangely a few days before the earthquake actually takes place. So we can see that the role of intuition is playing a powerful role in trying to predict earthquakes. And obviously astrology is also based on intuition. So I think we can really get closer to understanding natural disasters with the help of astrology.
Yeah, and also if we see the above configuration, so in the coming year, like
Yeah,
2021, after like 2020 November, the Jupiter is shifting to Capricorn with Saturn. and Jupiter is going to be debilitated. So during that time when Jupiter and Saturn are in Capricorn, and I think around May or June some eclipse will be coming that time. Or as
Yeah,
we see the configuration, like whenever the Jupiter and Saturn are combining in the earthy sign, there are a lot of calamities regarding earthquake will be erupt in major like major part of world. So from that we can, without going into the detail of which country and all, we can simply say that in 2021 is a year like major earthquake eruption will be seen in some parts of the world,
yeah,
from this simple generalization. As Jupiter
yeah,
being debilitated, so the effect will be intense on that side.
yeah. It will be felt intensely.
So I hope like we made it easy to understand like how the this sign the transit impacts the calamities. And also
Yeah,
we are going we just started this series and we are going to make a detailed video on for the detailed explanation of uh, earthquake one by one, and which are the major factors like full moon day, new moon day, and after that so we this is the first video, just the intro for that, and we will try to come up with the major research on this one by one, Bhuj in Gujarat, that earthquake and all. So
yeah. That would be interesting.
thank you,
So
Sneha,
I
for
hope you
your
guys, thank you.
uh,
I hope you guys really enjoyed this session of understanding earthquake to astrology. So if any of you has anything to add or share your observations or whatever you're trying to understand, let us know in the comments down below, and do give it a like, thumbs up, and do subscribe to us for more interesting videos like these.
thank you guys. Please do subscribe our channel, and please
Yeah,
comment whatever you like. If you want to know about more about the details of this, please go and comment on the comment section. Thank you.
sure. Yeah. Thank you.